With this, I would like to thank all the speakers of this session so far. And as I am the next speaker, I have to hand over the chair to somebody else. So Carl will take over the job from now on, which is, I'm standing between you and your time for relaxing. So I promise I will do my best to be quick. So Carl, over to you.
Rosa, I teased her. I said, well, I had a 28-minute introduction for her.
And she said, cannot do that.
Oh, no. But then I give you 5 minutes for your talk. But then just my experience with Rosa has been life-changing. We met in Provence, 20 years, 30 years ago, and she's just helped build this amazing system. I feel like I'm a cheerleader for her, even though maybe I helped initiate some of the ideas. The way Rosa has grabbed them and then, helped train 70,000 teachers around the world and, develop GTTP and inspired us all. There's really nobody like her on the planet. I hope, she's irreplaceable and just amazing. So, anything she does is fantastic and I support. So that's late. I won't talk anymore, Rosa. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl. Well, I think it's a group effort. We are all unique, and I think just had the privilege to stumble around the good people and the good ideas that you started, and you know that. So, well, without further ado, I'm going to share my screen with you guys and start my presentation. So I'm sharing my screen and I'm putting it in presentation mode, and I hope that you can see. You can see it, right? In presentation mode. Is that correct, Carl?
Yeah, looks good.
Okay, great. So I think that since I've met Carl and all the team of Global Hands-on Universe, which was truly a changing my life completely, I think I started devoting more time to bring research in astronomy into the classroom. And with time, we learned that there's need for more, and it's always opening a new door and a new window, and that's what I want to share with you guys. So I'm going to try to be as quick as Hamal was, because I have many slides that I really want to share with you. So first of all is to think, why is astronomy so important? Why do we want people to learn astronomy? And just look at this beauty of the sky. When you see there's so much science there, is so much learning and so much magic to share with students, that I really have difficulty understanding why people will not understand that astronomy is a very important topic for students to learn and for teachers, educators to use as a tool to promote many different disciplines, many different curriculum content. I can look, for instance, what we can learn by just observing the sky, like someone was mentioning that doing the Eratosthenes experiment, you can clearly and rapidly see that Earth couldn't possibly be flat. And we can see that things are rotating, and that this rotation is probably the Earth rotating around its axis. We know now, but the ancient people didn't know, and they couldn't make a picture like this, but we can do it now. Still, we are not using pictures and images like this in classrooms all over the world. And it annoys me. Why is that? Why people are not using? And then, yeah, right. Light pollution. It's a big menace, and it's taking away the skies from us, and it's taking away from humans the opportunity to understand what it means to be human. It's taking away the opportunity for humans to understand that we're just a very tiny, insignificant, small part of a larger universe. So how can we change that? Well, first of all, by nurturing that continuous need to know more. So what's out there? How big is our universe? Or wanting to know things like, what is time? Does it really exist? Are you sure that time is something that exists? How do we count time? Do we say that time's passing because we're getting old, because we count days and hours and years? But that only makes sense if you are on a planet like Earth, orbiting a star like our sun. So what does it mean at the global level? Why are the constants of nature so fine-tuned? Is it for us to be here, or we are here because they are so fine-tuned? We can ask things like, are there more universes? What is it, that thing that we call universe? Are we inside of a little bubble that is inside of a bigger bubble, or many other bubbles inside something that we have no idea what it is? Are we alone in the universe? Because, well, we don't believe that. We are sure there is more life in the universe, but how is this life? And at this moment, we haven't found any life in the universe yet. But we know a few things. We know that time does not behave exactly as we think it does. So we just need to learn a little bit of special relativity and general relativity to understand more about the universe as it is, and that we don't perceive in our daily life. But we do know that things are not as we perceive them. Still, many students and many people are not learning it in school. We know there's this thing that we don't really understand well, something that is traveling across space-time, which we don't see, which we have no idea what it is, but with gravitational waves, it's just proved it exists. We know we have gathering more and more evidences about black holes, the simplest objects in the universe, and yet those that are the more exotic ones, and we don't have that bulletproof that will say they do exist. We're just gathering evidences. We know for sure that we exist. We know that the universe is filled with galaxies. We know there's lots of gas and dust. We know there's billions and billions of stars around there. And we know that we live around a very beautiful star that we call the sun. And we are just the remaining of the trash from the creation of our solar system. We live in a beautiful planet, and we even know how to escape this beautiful planet. Look at the beautiful image of the astronaut. We are privileged to live in the habitable zone of our solar system, in the habitable zone of our galaxy. Our galaxy is just part of the local group of galaxies, which is just part of the Virgo cluster, and so on and so forth, until we can talk about the observable universe. And we don't know if this is all or how big the observable universe is. So there's a lot to be learned about our universe and how it impacts us. But let's take it out of the equation. Let's talk about how we explore and how this influences our life, how science is helping us move forward. So Bianca already shared with you a few applications where space exploration is invading our lives with innovation, and how the funding that is invested in research comes 100% back to the people giving the money to it. And you might ask, okay, I'm a teacher, I'm very inspired, but now in practice, how do I include this in my curriculum? How do I prepare the students for the exam? So I can tell you that with a little bit of training, you can include, you can use astronomy and space exploration to teach any topic in the curriculum that you want. Just try me and I will prove you that this is possible. We've been training teachers to do that using inquiry-based learning, which is a student-centered methodology, and using interdisciplinary learning. It's not teaching, it's facilitating learning. We use STEAM, which is aggregating topics, aggregating subject domains, and have teachers of all disciplines working together. We deliver data to the hands of students, and from primary school to secondary university level, we have them explore the world and understand the world, having data, analyzing data, having fun with the data. This is what we want to do for our students and for our teachers. We have to bring enthusiasm to students. You have to have them you have to give them research data, put it in their hands, make them feel that they are contributing to the field of research. And Fraser and all other presenters today showed how we can do this with exoplanets, with black holes, with galaxies, with so many other different objects. We can put the data in the hands of students, and they can actively contribute to the development of scientific research. We can have them working, collaborating directly with scientists, You can train scientists to work with teachers and students, and they can use students as collaborators to support them in analyzing data that otherwise they would never be able to do that. You can train the students and train the teachers to use tools like SalsaJ. We had a very nice workshop on SalsaJ today, or using Stellarium, where they can go far beyond the learning from a book or watching a PowerPoint or a video on YouTube. We have to empower educators, and this is, the best lesson. It's all lessons that came from Global Hands-on Universe. This all was something that bumped into our lap from Global Hands-on Universe. You have to create ambassadors. You have to train teachers so they can train other teachers that can train other teachers that can train other teachers. It's a cascade effect. You have to empower teachers to become the change makers of their community. You have to do this face-to-face or online, and COVID brought this example on how easy it is to do it online. It's not the same thing as doing face-to-face, but it's still very powerful. So this year is just an example. In Portugal, we trained over 200 teachers for 25 hours, groups of 20 teachers being trained on how to use innovative methodologies to empower students, to give the floor to the students and transform students into change makers of their community. It was not just space exploration and astronomy, it was more freedom for climate change, for talking about refugees, from cultural aspects, from I don't know how many different topics were done. We have to change educational system. Yeah, that's a hard one. I know it's not easy to convince policymakers to change the educational system to something that will cost more, and that where you don't have definite answers on how things will go. But you can certainly not judge a school using a spreadsheet that only puts together the grades that students have in a test or in an exam. That is something that has to die. You cannot evaluate, assess a student with standardized tests. That's a wrong way to do. We are not all alike. We are different from each other. So we have to foster 21st century skills. We have to make sure that the sustainable development goals are priority in everything that students learn, so they will grow up to be different leaders in their lives. We have to equip educators with the necessary tools. And I give you examples of, we have a project called Open Teach that will be open to everyone, that is training educators on how to find good resources on the web, trustable resources, how to respect copyright, how to ensure quality when you find something on the internet. We have to teach educators, to train them on discovering the learning style of their students, because we are all different. We have to train teachers to try and find out the personal characteristics and skills of each human being that they have in their hands. Teachers have to worry about all the possible personal, social, and cultural characteristics of the students that they have in front of them. Teachers have to worry about equality, equity, accessibility. And this, I'm sorry for the Portuguese here, these are three different faces of the same thing. It's very good that we ensure equality for the students' experience in schools, but that doesn't serve everyone. If you ensure equity, then you are giving the tools that are needed by each student so that they can make use of their full capacity. But if you eliminate barriers, then that's accessibility. And that's what teachers have to do. Teachers need to learn to drop stereotypes. And I have this teaser, these avatars, which I created, which are students that where you cannot guess if they are male or female, because one of the things that teachers need to know is to accept gender differences. People are different. They perceive themselves different. It doesn't matter if a student is a boy or a girl or something different. It's a human being. It doesn't matter the race or the color of the skin. It's a human being. That's all that matters. And teachers have to learn how to teach students, how to be fully inclusive, how to drop stereotypes. So there is this methodology called the Universal Design for Learning that I'm not going to talk to you about it by any means, but I will give this presentation to you, and there's a series of lessons that have been created that use this inclusive methodology to facilitate learning. It's called a project called InSTEAM, and you have here a link to a very nice lesson that helps you navigate the universal design learning and learn how you can be inclusive, serving every student in your classroom and not just the average. So you might ask, do you really think that all of this is necessary? Yes, I do. I don't think that being a teacher is an easy task. I never said it is. And in fact, and to be very honest, and I said that already, many of you know that teachers are the most important profession in the world and should be valued as such. You can ask me, okay, how can we actually do all of this? Well, you can use a methodology that is called design thinking, and we have several projects in our hands: Global Science Opera for Schools, Reflecting for Change, Open Schools for Open Societies, where we are training teachers on how to use design thinking. It's a marketing methodology where you get to know your students better, where your students can get to know a topic better. They get to know the community better by feeling the problem, feeling the community, imagine a solution, creating a solution, and sharing a solution. And we are doing this over and over again with many students across the world. So, sorry for this. So, how can we do this? So, first of all, you have to engage educators to dive into the world of astronomy and space exploration. You engage them, you train them, you support them, you recognize their effort, and you build a community around what they're doing. And to do all of this, we have several opportunities, as you have been seeing in many of the activities that we are promoting across this year, like the summer schools that were all online that we do with our partners from ESIA, our conferences and workshops in Global Hands-on Universe, our partnership with Astronomy in Canary Islands, our partnership with the European Space Agency, so on and so forth. There are many opportunities for training at an international and a national level. And in all those trainings, we try to empower teachers to bring the way they should be working with students to their hands. They are treated as students so they can learn and replicate everything they learn with their students. We empower the students with hands-on data, like in the Project Frontiers, where they could work with black holes, the project that Fraser mentioned, the black holes in my school. They could work with gravitational waves, they could work with Higgs particles, and so in many other topics. And there was training, and there is still a lot of materials in the Frontiers webpage. There are all the resources from Hands-on Universe, where you have students discovering supernovas, asteroids, mimicking the black hole, the discovery of the black hole in the center of our galaxy, so on and so forth. The discovery of asteroids that was discussed and presented many times over and over again during this meeting. The fight against light pollution. The global science opera that was presented tonight. Or a project like we have these stars, where we have students creating a digital story about a mission to the moon. Or we can talk about the use of robotic telescope. Is a project LastKill that's just starting, that is coordinated by Fraser, and that you will hear more about it in the near future. So we have lots of projects. Take a screenshot of this, because this is just a summary of the projects that we have in hand right now. There are more projects coming on board. You have here Our Space, Our Future. You heard from Sophie today about this project. You will still hear more. We have Assess, where you're going to help you learn how to assess the students better, etc. So in the end, what we want is just to have science literate individuals capable to make wise decisions and understand our place in the cosmos, which is just, our cosmos is just this beautiful world that is only one world. I use this slide many times over again, because it is indeed one world, one people, one sky. And we do plan to continue being here for you, to support you in this journey. And I guess that's it. I didn't spend all my time. I think I still have 1 minute to answer a question if there is any.
Well, we started a little late, so I think you can go on. Besides, nobody's after you.
Nobody's after me. Well, I think people are tired. I don't want to spend all the time. So I will stop sharing. And I don't know if there are any questions or any comment that you want to do, Carl. I have tried to go through very quickly to present to you all that we are doing, all the methodologies that we are using.
Well, I'm the designated question asker of the whole. I don't know. We have 20,000 people on Facebook Live watching us now. Anyway,
no, not that many. But we are going to have all the presentations in YouTube later in our GTTP GHOU YouTube channel, where people can later watch everything.
Hey, why? How about giving me? I have in my mind some ideas, but I'd be interested in listening to you. What would you like in your heart of hearts if we had a little bit of money? The one or two top things that would help us reach more teachers more easily. I mean, more teacher workshops. That, of course, that. But what other things do you think we could use?
We have been discussing about this this online training course where we present the topics of astronomy, but not in the usual way, where you have the beautiful pictures. You go through all the science behind it, but instead of that, with an inquiry and inclusive model where you have students learn or teachers learn by doing research. This is one of the things we have been discussing this for quite some time now that GHOU is willing to launch, Astronomy 101 and beyond, using real examples. This is one of the schools. I have a list. It's my wish list here. I've been taking notes during this week. I also would like to have funding to promote more regional workshops where we can go closer to where the teachers are and create more ambassadors. We do have plenty of them right now, but the world is big, and we do need many more ambassadors. And so this would be my dream to be able to devote the rest of my life to do this.
The top two. So any teacher, it was my brilliant idea, Rosa. We want any teacher on the planet should be able to access our stuff, right?
Precisely. That's the idea. But the problem with the access, and this is something that is very important, it's not making it freely available on the website. That doesn't work. There is billions of resources freely available on the web. The problem is that teachers need a travel companion to overcome the psychological barriers, the cultural barriers, the need for adaptability. That's why design thinking is so important. It's to modulate, it's to support the teachers to transform that material to something that can be useful for their specific purpose, for their specific students in the specific reality they are living in. It's not some stuff, because otherwise it's just standardized material that is posted online that enables you to do standardized tests. We're all different. It doesn't work like that.
Now, how do you make that kind of community support group? I mean, your experience. Like how would you see we could do it in Uganda, or where we've had these excellent workshops. They're communicating on WhatsApp. They're getting together on their own. They're owning GHOU. What else could we do for them, say?
Well, I think it's just continue to, I would organize regional events where you have those top teachers coming to a face-to-face summer school in 1 or 2 weeks and spend with, 5 from Uganda, 5 from Tanzania, 5 from Kenya or more, like 100 teachers where you really very deeply train them. And after you've done this once, you can follow up with them online, and they will follow up and they will do the same. We did that in the Project Goga. We did exactly this. We trained very well a set of what we call master teachers, and they trained other teachers that then train other teachers. This is the cascade effect. You invented this. Well, you didn't invent, but you applied it so masterfully, and it works very well. We have several teachers in Portugal that are now training teachers for us.
Very good. Thank you so much. Gee, are there any other questions out there? this, you have the world's best in front of you. She's so busy. This might be your one chance for the next decade to get a question.
No, yeah, well, it's because, I never say no, but there's no question. Well, thank you for all the compliment. Vindra is asking, is this only available to official teachers or persons in astronomical society? No. Well, you should put the questions in Q&A because this keeps passing. Who do interact with adult children in astronomy? Also, it's available to anyone in the world willing to participate. That there's no, we don't require any official institution for people willing to become trainers, trainees, and ambassadors at all. To think that if you could teach people how to recognize what is science or not, we would give a huge contribution to the world. Virginia, that is very true. That is really very true. But that's what we're doing, right? By creating critical thinkers, by having people think about the universe and understand our place in the cosmos, we are contributing for that. Just the fact that you don't tell people, oh, the world is not flat. You let them discover that is not, because if they find that, if they make their hypothesis, they try to prove that is, they can't. So you don't prove anything, you give evidences, you help people build their own ideas, and they will eventually get there. But you need to start at the very first level, as Bianca was doing with her students at the very, very beginning. So, Vindra, no, it's available to anyone in the world that will be willing to participate in the project. That's why we have Global Hands-on Universe. It's precisely to ensure that people willing to participate can participate.
Great. Okay, I think, any more questions?
I don't think so. I think we just, well, thank you for the compliments.
Yeah, thank you, Rosa. A round of applause.
Just keep together, keep close to us, and spread the news that we are doing this. Scientific thinking, that's it, Virginia, that is correct.
Okay, well now, Rosa, I think we're to have a closing. You're kind of a co-host. We have a closing ceremony now? Or, Gustavo's here coming in.
You see, Gustavo, the time is coming up.